Okay. I had a few questions I want to address first. A lot of people ask me about partner. He signed this for his dance partner in the video, and I do see this for partner, although I don't tend to sign that for partner, or do I? I don't know. Partner. I actually threw up a question on Facebook also about partner used to describe a same-sex couple. I actually recently worked with an interpreter, and I asked her that question, and I can't remember what she said that she signs for it, but I'm actually looking on Facebook right now to see if I've gotten any other responses. But anyway, oh, here we go. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that this is also signed often for partner, meaning same-sex couple on Facebook. So just so you know. As far as dance partner, I would probably sign, I might sign this. I might sign partner. I do sign this for the idea of partners. So, like, you know, they have partners, referring to both of the partners. But as far as a partner, one of them, I might sign partner. And I don't think it's regional. Somebody asked me if it's regional. I don't think it's regional. I've seen, this is more roommate. Somebody asked me about this sign. This is more like roommate. So not so much for partner, or certainly not for dance partner. Partners. I think I have seen this for partner, singular, but this is definitely referencing partners, two of them. Like a couple. It means this means a couple. Partners. So I don't know if I'm actually answering the question at all, but I've seen all of them for that concept of partner. Which is best to use, I'm not really sure. They all seem pretty acceptable to me. Vote versus elect. Vote, the verb. Election, the noun. Vote, election. Success. And I also see success signed just like pa sometimes. So success or success, one movement. I see both of those signed a lot. Success or success. I don't know if you guys can see the difference. I'm tapping this in the middle one time. So success or just pa for success. I see both of those a lot. And then famous is your palms stay in, so famous. Your palms stay backwards, famous, success. This sign, talk about, I'm not going to have a really good answer for this, but I'm going to talk my way through it and see what we come up with. So this sign, talk about, that we see people sign like pretty much every single week. The deaf person in the video says, I'm going to talk about whatever. Talk about this topic. The question that was brought up to me was, this sign also can mean comment, message, all of those concepts, message, comment, and message, comment, those are nouns. The message, the comment, noun. Noun, double movement, typical noun production, double movement. Okay, comment, etc. Talk about or say is a verb, yet it's always signed double. Talk about or say. So the question was, is it a noun-verb pair? Is it not? Talk about and say are always signed double. And the only explanation I can give for that is, despite it being the only explanation I give for that is, I think it's being used in the ing form. I'm not sure linguistically what that's called grammatically, but the ing form, meaning talking, like I will be talking about, I will be discussing this topic in the ing form of the verb. So like if I were to say, every morning I run, the verb is run, one movement. Every morning I run. But if I were to say every morning I go running and I look at the sky and see the beautiful birds, I would sign every morning me run, 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 look beautiful. So that's running, and that's a different, it's different part of speech. We're getting really technical grammatically, but that's the only explanation I have for the fact that this sign talk about is signed is duplicated. If that makes any sense. The other thing I was thinking is it actually they might be saying me. I'll comment. I just had somebody sign up for the webinar a little late, but I'm going to see if I can grab them in here. Let me do this really quickly. Okay. Okay, so that's it for that. Any questions about that? Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so a few observations I made. As I mentioned before I went live, really, really great videos I got. I think that sometimes when the stimulus is really complicated, it forces people to get really, think out of the box, and I just thought I saw some really great things. This sign, lose, if you win something versus lose something, you lose. Win and lose. So it's not like I lost my keys, I lost my bag. It's I lost, lose. We're going to be taking a close look at whether or not we should fingerspell running mate. What does running mate mean? How do we approach running mate? Pick versus find. So find is, I'm looking down there, oh, I found it. Oh shoot, my hands can't see. Okay, so I think of it like this. It's down there, where is it? Where is it? Up. I found it. It's a down to up motion. Found, okay? If I'm picking something out, I'm looking and up. I want that one. I'm gonna pick it. I'm gonna pick it out. So I found it on the ground, and I pick it off the shelf. Found it on the ground, pick it off the shelf. And some people also put their hand behind pick, and it helps them distinguish between the difference between find and pick. So if you are selecting something or picking something, it's straight out. The concept of many people attribute the success of a campaign. A lot of people omitted that concept. So a lot of people sign that sentence with just the president. Like many people thank the president, but they don't. But they should thank him, the VP, as well. Okay, but they didn't sign the concept of if their campaign is successful, they thank him rather than thanking him. So that idea of attributing the success of a campaign, that concept was omitted in most of the interpretations that I saw. The concept of a lot at stake. The president has a lot at stake. That was an interesting thing. We're going to discuss that when we get to that, but I want you to be thinking about that too. Oh, and lastly, the sign production for president is simply president. President. It's not a cross. It's not fancy schmancy. It's just from the side of the face out. President. President. I saw a lot of people coming out from in front of the face. It's just president. President. Okay. Here we go from the top. After a presidential candidate has had much success on the campaign trail, winning primary after primary, they start thinking about who they will pick as their running mate. This is educational, 12th grade educational. Okay, so first chunk. After a presidential candidate has had much success on the campaign trail. For the idea of candidate, candidate. I saw candidate, and I saw candidate, and I actually think they're both fine, even though this is my go-to, candidate, okay? I think they're both fine. the person competing for president. Grammatically, they both have issues. I went through this last week when I glossed this out, but I do think commonly you will see either of those signs being used for the idea of candidate. I think this one is probably the most common. So we have, we're talking about the presidential candidate, so president, applicant, the person who's volunteering themselves to be the president, okay? And after the presidential candidate has had much success on the campaign trail. So you may show that process that's going along as maybe, we're going to set them up right away, compete, going through the process, okay, maybe win-win, success, success, okay? So that's the whole process that he's going through. Now, there is an element that I did not put in there, and that is the phrase winning primary after primary. When I initially glossed that, I completely took that out because I do not think it's necessary. In the interpretation, basically, if we did what I just signed, I'm basically saying after the candidate has had a series of wins through the process, okay? That's the same thing as winning primary after primary, okay? Had a series of wins, has seen a lot of success along the trail or whatever. If you do, for whatever reason, feel like primary is necessary, and there is a really good argument to support that. For example, this is education. The teacher might be teaching about primaries. It might be important for them to know about what the term primary is and what the term running mate is, and the teacher might be using that term specifically to reinforce these concepts. So if that's the case in your interpreting situation, then putting primary in there would be necessary. And so what you might do is make that the topic of the second chunk. So we have first chunk, presidential applicant, okay, compete, do the process, and then second chunk, eyebrows up, primary, vote, he win, success, success, okay? So that's how that would go in there. That's how it could go in there if you felt like primary was important. And like I said, there's an absolutely good argument to put that in. My brain thinks like a community interpreter and not like an educational interpreter first, so I always have to kind of check myself when it comes to the needs for an educational environment. Okay, so we have that whole first chunk done. After a presidential candidate has had much success on the campaign trail, winning primary after primary, which again was just win-win, success, success. The next chunk is they start thinking about who they will pick as their running mate. Okay, so education again. Who thinks that the term running mate is something that the student in 12th grade might see on a test or see in their homework or something? I think that it's possible. They might see that. They might see that. If I were interpreting a discussion about politics and let's say in a business environment, let's say it came up during a break or something, and somebody was like, "Oh, what do you guys think about Hillary's running mate?" I would absolutely not fingerspell running mate in that situation. But in this situation, in education, it might be a good idea. Okay, so because you want the deaf student to be able to look on the paper on the test and see the teacher, it says, name 2 aspects of the selection process for selecting running mate. For deaf kids, like, I've never seen running mate before in my life. What is this running mate term? So you want to make sure as the interpreter you've conveyed that. Okay, so they start thinking about who they will pick as their running mate. So what do you guys want to start off with in that phrase, in that chunk? They start thinking about who they will pick as their running mate. Any ideas? Who and what are we talking about? Just give me the first sign. What would you sign first in that phrase? They start thinking about who they will pick as their running mate. They. I see two people signing this. They. Right. This person. That's who we're talking about first. Yep, absolutely. So we want to make sure that we're incorporating those pronouns. So he or she, the person over here, this presidential candidate, and then who thinks, is anybody thinking about role shifting in this sentence? Yeah, definitely, definitely. It could be conveyed other ways, but absolutely I get a clear picture of what this presidential candidate is going through. And whenever you have a clear picture, depict it, depict it, depict it, depict it. You can totally envision somebody going, okay, so now my vice president who? You can totally envision this whole situation happening in a very simple way, okay? And if I were in the business break room, that's exactly how I would sign it. The only variation I would make for education would be distinguished fellow running mate first. So it would be, this is what they do. The role shift would be, my running mate, vice president, and I make that clear, vice president, who, sorry, I signed that wrong. So again, it would be, this is what they're thinking, my running mate, vice president, who, that's it. Next sentence. You know, presidential candidates have a wide range of attributes, and they are looking for a running mate that has complementary skills that can make the pair more likely for success. Okay, first chunk. You know, presidential candidates have a wide range of attributes. Okay, so, transition could be understand, could be know that, something like that. Yep, understand or know that, okay? Who or what are we talking about in this first chunk? And where is that person set up? Yep, so we could literally just sign this right here. We just talked about president in the previous sentence, so we don't have to reiterate it, but we could if we wanted to. Either way would work. So know that this person over here, okay, and what do they have? I'll say the sentence again. You know that presidential candidates have a wide range of attributes. They have, everybody's pretty much signing the same thing. So they have skills, a lot of them, or skills, a lot of them. Sorry, I know I'm losing my hand, a lot of them, okay. They have skills, a lot of them, or a lot of them, or a lot of them, okay. Just to note, this sign specifically does not actually mean a lot of them unless you emphasize it. They have skills versus they have skills. This just means plural. They have this one and that one and that one. Okay. I saw somebody's video, they expanded on skills, which I thought worked in the interpretation, but it was unnecessary. They did a very generic, like, friendly, popular, something like that. So they chose really generic ones that did not, I didn't feel like it skewed the message, but I didn't think it was necessary. So we know that this guy over here has skills, lots of them, okay? And to borrow that, and to borrow the idea that was in the inspiration video, we can bring that to the center, or we can bring that to the center. There we go. Bring that to the center. We could do that. To be fair, that's not the way I would naturally do it, and I'll show you at the end how I would naturally do it. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful the way he does it. So he has skills, okay, brought to the table. Okay. The next chunk is, where am I? Oh, and they are looking for a running mate that has complementary skills that can make the pair more likely for success, okay? So we are talking about they want this person over here, okay? They want the VP or this person over here. Do we all agree that running mate is VP? Okay. Okay. This person over here, what is this guy desire of this guy? They want him what? Yep. Skills. Yeah, absolutely. Or different skills, something like that. So they want this person to have also skills. Yep. That do what? That come together nicely. Yes, come together nicely. Or you could do, we just did skills. Want him to have skills too that come together nicely. You can have them come together nicely like that, complementary skills. That's what I would, that's my nature to do for that chunk. But doing this idea, keep doing the wrong hand. Yeah, this, and then have skills together. That works too, or together, all of those work. He does this like shake up thing in the video, which is really cool. I don't know if it so much works for this context, but certainly bringing the skills together and then definitely works for this context. You know, the fact that they come together and then, wow, does that really help everything? Wow, is that, you know, ideal? That's what they want. So we have that whole section is something like, know that this guy over there has skills. They want this guy over here to have, oh, I messed up. Back it up. One more time. This guy over here, something like that, okay? Or you could do it the other way where we have both of them. That could work too. Okay, next one. It might seem like presidential candidates pick any Tom, Dick, or Harry because it's really all about the president, okay? I saw some great interpretations of this. In the inspiration video, he did this idea of like that kind of thing. So I thought that could work for this. Or I kind of like, my instinct is to do something like we'll go out there, but we'll just pick anybody. Like, pick with this kind of like, doesn't matter. I'm most important, so it doesn't matter kind of thing. So I think any of those could work. Something more linear could work as well. Like instead of showing doesn't matter, which depicting is always our best choice. You could choose to sign doesn't matter, but depicting it like, or kind of is a better, you know, more depiction. So we have, it might seem like presidential candidates pick any Tom, Dick, or Harry because it's really all about the president. So we could do a negation there, set it up as this guy over here, okay, and then end up the sentence with not, or I'll do it a different way. Could do it like that. Yeah, something like that. So this is what they do. Doesn't do. They don't do that. They don't do that. And that could be another way to end the sentence too. Instead of this. Ooh, that's not how it works. Okay. So I missed something about him being most important. Like that could work. Okay, next sentence. But they put so much research. They put so much into research and vetting these potential VPs, and they are looking for someone who can substantially contribute to the presidential candidate. First chunk is about the research and vetting. but they put so much into research and vetting these potential VPs. Okay, so what would you want to, what's your first sign? What do you guys think? Just the first sign, just the first sign. So I saw his group, so that's the first idea, his group, his or her group. I like that. You could also just kind of do they, like them over there. I kind of have the president's stuff over here and the VP's stuff over there, all kind of in the same space, side on space. But his group works fine too. His group is a little bit clearer than just signing they. So they, then the idea of research and vetting is, there's so many signs that can be used for that idea, okay? So everybody just throw out a sign that could be used for the idea of research and vet. So we have research, absolutely, lots of questions, even interviewing might be going on, searching might be going on, this could be going on. Yeah, so this could be going on. It would have to be a circle though, very important. This sign is one of those signs that I see people using incorrectly a lot, just because there's so many variations to look at. So just be careful. If you're looking at something intensely, it's circle, 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 circle like this. So all of those, pick a couple of those, any of those could be signed with the idea of research and vetting. Okay, so we're searching for, we're analyzing, asking lots of questions, interviewing lots of different people. This sign, that show of activity, when after you've chosen your couple of signs that you want to use to convey this, you can show this to show that it's very active and there's a whole lot of stuff going on, okay, so they or their group, search, analyze, they pick one. They finally pick somebody, okay? And they are looking for somebody who can substantially contribute to the presidential candidate. And everybody did, I think everybody did this, okay? So they pick somebody, must contribute, okay? And I saw several people do more than just this. So must contribute, support, and I like benefit also. You know, they have to benefit them. So it's not just a great usage of directional verbs. So this idea that they're contributing, because this sign is not entirely clear to contribute, signing like support lets us know, oh, that kind of contribution. Okay, we get it, that kind of contribution. And even this kind of lets us know that it has to benefit the candidate. Okay, so there's a lot of words in that original English sentence, but the interpretation is really short. It's this idea of they look and pick, BP, pick someone, must contribute, benefit him. Done. Okay. There have been times in history that a running mate was chosen, and later it was discovered that there was something troubling in their past, and they had to start the exhaustive search all over again to replace them. Okay, first chunk. There have been times in history that a running mate was chosen. We can stop there, okay? So there have been times in history. How do you want to convey that time element? There have been times in history. So before maybe happened to show it's happened more than once. Before happened, or up until now happened, maybe like it's happened over a span of time. Either one of those could work. Before happened, or happen to show that, or happen to show it's happened in the past. This makes me feel like it's frequent, though. That's my only issue with this. It kind of feels like it's frequent. Before or up until now, happen. Yeah, I think that's more accurate. What's happened? What did they do first in this little story? Right, very good, everybody. They picked somebody, right? They picked somebody, and then what happened? And then what happened later? Look at the words again. I'm seeing a lot of different things going on here. Later, it was discovered that there was something troubling in their past. So they picked the VP, and then over time, okay, so I'm seeing this a lot. Okay, so I didn't use this, but this sign totally works. So let's use this sign. Over time, what? Okay, so over time, problems showed up. The only thing is that problem that showed up could have happened while they were picked. Like it doesn't show that it was something that happened in their past. It means that they could have, I don't know, slept with some crazy person during the campaign trail or something, like while it's going on. But it's something troubling in their past that was discovered. So how do we show that? Yeah, I mean, what do I have? Yeah, I don't know. I don't have it. It's not so clear on mine either that it's a problem that's happened in the past. But what I have is they picked this guy, and then maybe the finding of the problem is what tells us that it already happened. Maybe not. Or I saw somebody's video they did. It was very clear. Their history, their background, something wrong. That's very clear that it's something happened in the past. Okay, so that's a very explicit way to convey that idea. So they picked somebody, and then over time, their history, their background, something wrong. Okay, I would argue that found problem is probably enough, but it's definitely not as explicit as the interpretation that I just gave you. Another way to convey that is with a slight role shift. So you could do over time, something like that. So they found a problem, and they have to get rid of them. But again, that's not as exact as showing the fact that it was history background thing. So you guys use your discretion and decide which one you choose. I think that both of them are, what do they call it now? A successful interpretation. There's a change in terms because interpretations are never 100% exact match. They used to use the term like message match or message accuracy, and they realized that because of the difference in languages that it's impossible to have a 100% match. So they use the term a successful interpretation rather than one that actually 100% matches. So I think it's successful, but the history background is a closer match. Okay. They had to start the exhaustive search all over again to replace them. So I kind of already did that. I said, kick out, okay? Must, I just signed must replace, but we do need to show the idea of exhaustive. So kick out, must again, pick, okay? And if you're gonna just use that one time, you wanna make sure you show that it's exhaustive, pick. Or two-handed is fine too. Yeah, make sure you show that it's not like, but pick. Clear so far? Questions, comments? Okay. We are cruising along today. Oh, I have a little note on my gloss in my next to search that says consider more expansion. And so one idea for the concept of exhaustive search, some may feel like doing an expansion of what that looks like. So again, you know, kick out or search, interview, research, kick, kind of a thing. More expansion on the idea of search. It's just a thought. Okay, next sentence. The presidential candidate has a lot at stake and has to choose very carefully. I love that sentence. The presidential candidate has a lot at stake. So with every single interpretation, with every single step through every single interpretation, even though I haven't explicitly asked, what does it mean? What does it mean every single time? That's really what we're doing. We're thinking about the meaning and we are putting out the meaning. We're thinking about the meaning and we're taking that and we go, okay, ASL, ASL, maybe that might work. Okay? We're going to do the same thing with this. We're going to think about the meaning and we're going to go, okay, this is the meaning, ASL, ASL, maybe that might work. Okay, that's what every part of our process is. So, the presidential candidate has a lot at stake. What does that mean? And you guys can unmute in English, tell me what you guys think that means. And you may have differing views, and I may have differing views, and that's okay. Michelle?
That if you pick the wrong VP...
Sorry, my volume was down. Start over again.
If you pick the wrong VP, you may not...
Can't hear you. There's this going on. One more time. If you pick the wrong... So if you pick the wrong VP, the presidential candidate has a lot at stake. Oh, that's the whole sentence and has to choose very carefully. So Michelle's saying the whole sentence, the meaning of the whole sentence is, if you pick the wrong vice president, you may not become president. You may lose. You might lose. Does anybody have a different interpretation of what the meaning of that idea of has a lot at stake in this sentence means? Different take on it? This is what I see on you, Cheryl. That's all I see. Nope. Back up. Back up. Try it again. I saw this sign. That's all I saw. So the fact that the selection is important is an element of it. But having a lot at stake is more than just the importance of it. It means that there is having a lot at stake. It means that he could hurt. It means that there's some sort of detriment if he makes the wrong decision. And I think we know what that detriment is. He could lose. Explicitly, that's the problem, is that he's trying to become literally the president of the free world, or she. Gotta stop saying he. And he or she is trying to become literally the president of the free world. And if they make the wrong selection, this person could literally impact the success of that. That's the a lot at stake. So whether you see that as lose or, you know, that kind of thing, like that, a lot at stake, like, wow. But it's more than just, it's important. We all know that it's important, but it could be that lose, everything, like gone, dreams destroyed. Yeah, a lot at stake. So whenever we are faced with this really challenging idioms and these really challenging concepts, always go back to just what does that mean? And don't let those words influence you. Easier said than done. But try not to let those words influence you. And just what in the world do they mean by the president has a lot at stake? when I lost this, I wrote the stupid thing, and I still had to go, what in the world do I mean by those words? And ultimately, what it means is that, you know, this is a huge, potentially huge loss. This decision could result in a huge loss for this person. Okay, so now that we have unpacked the message, let's figure out how we can nice and simply interpret it. I think I kind of just did it, but I'll do it again. So maybe a transition like understand. He wants to win, wow, or he or she wants to become the president. Maybe Chubin is the actual president. Pick wrong, maybe lose, could be, or pick, or this person over here will influence that, or this person over here will impact that person, maybe lose. You could do something like that. So that incorporates a couple of directional verbs, impact or influence, okay? And I do think that the idea of losing, I think, is a really, really big one. You know, that's the stake, is like, you know, don't want to lose that feeling. Questions? All right. Usually folks attribute the success, this is the other one that we wanted to discuss. Usually folks attribute the success of a campaign solely to the president, but the vice president deserves a good portion of the gratitude too. So, usually folks attribute the success of a campaign solely to the president. Okay, so we talk a lot about when we're dissecting these pieces about the order in which things actually happen. The order in which things actually happen. So if somebody is attributing the success of a campaign to anyone, that means what has happened? Exactly. The two of them won. Yes. And that is the element that was omitted from most interpretations that I saw. Okay? So people tend, two of them win, and what do? They attribute the success to this guy. Whether you want to show that with a thank you, like he did in the inspiration video, or nice job to you, only you, Mr. or Mrs. President, over there. Okay, either one of those could work. But structurally, people tend win. That's the structure, okay? It's not just we give accolades to this guy. It's when they win, this is the person that gets all the credit, okay? It's really different meaning, okay? And then to end it, we need to say, you know, no, should to, or something like that. Or in the inspiration video, he did tend, thank you, but I think he did he did this, thank you, but think of it to, should to, something like that. So any of those could work. I actually prefer this sign, but either of those are very clear, very successful interpretations. Either choice of signs, I think. Okay, and two more nice, quick little sentences. Many people vote for a president because of the VP they picked. Okay. Again, the order. Okay, so we have many people out there, or many people out there, if you wanted to do that. Okay. There are other ways to convey the idea of many people too, but we can just do simply many people out there, many of those folks out in the universe. Okay. What did they, okay, many people vote for president because of the VP they picked. So what did they do first? That's hard to explain. I'm trying to get you guys to say what I wrote down on my paper. It's not easy. How, according to this sentence, how would somebody vote for the president? Many people vote for a president because of the VP they've picked. And think of it in like a role shift, maybe. Yes, I like the VP, exactly. According to the sentence, they're saying that a whole bunch of people out there go, oh my gosh, I like that guy. I'm gonna vote for them. I'm gonna vote for, yeah, but I like this guy, so I'm gonna vote for him. I'm gonna vote for them. That's what they're saying. So that all we have to do now that we've just seen that picture, the word said it, we saw the picture, right? Now all we have to do is sign what we just saw, okay? And all it is many out there go, yeah, that's it. We listened to the words, we saw the picture, and we just signed the picture. Yep. You guys may not know that voting for someone in ASL is vote support. Vote support. Vote support. So many out there went, ooh, I like him. Vote support. Done. Anyway, the election is coming up, and I'm excited about it, albeit a bit nervous. Okay, so anyway, the election's coming up, or the election is soon. I've also seen people sign coming up this way, and it just changes perspective. So it means that it's creeping up on us as opposed to we're creeping up on it, oddly enough, but both of them work. Yep. You can also sign this, like the election is coming up. So, yep, as long as you don't, yep, it works. So the election is coming up, like it's getting closer and closer to our faces. That works too, coming up. I tend to use this sign only when, I tend to use this sign for that meaning only when it's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe how fast something has approached. That's how I tend to use it. But I think it can be used for just it's coming up. I would more likely sign this, but that's my own tendency. I think all three of those signs are fine for that idea. But I sign this for like Christmas next week or that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, how in the world? So yeah, for near, we just discussed 3 different ways to do that. So we could do, anyway, the election is coming up. Coming up. So that's like, good. Thank goodness it's coming up. Yes, it's coming up. Nervous. Yes. Okay, that's the whole sentence. So that was like a 15-word sentence that we got in like 5 signs. Elections coming up. I keep messing that sign. Elections coming up. Nervous. Yes, that's it. And nervous can be signed a lot of different ways too. Nervous. You can sign nervous. Sign nervous. You can sign nervous. I'm sure there are others too. Nervous. I don't know. Maybe. But those are the most common. There's a lot. Nervous. 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 You guys know this sign, nervous, means like your heart's pounding. This is really like an emotional nervous, but it still could work. This is a common nervous, but this is, I feel like more, this is kind of personal too. Like I think job interviews are like this kind of nervous. Like, no, it affects your body. Each one of those signs has a different, it comes from a different like physiological thing, right? So this is your leg shaking, this is your heart pounding, this is your whole body moving, nervous. So you kind of really, you have to kind of think about if it relates directly to the context. Any questions? Thoughts, comments? I think everybody did a great, great job with this. This is probably the hardest stimulus of the entire 4 weeks. I never know. I put it out and I think it's easy, and then I get 18 emails. What are you guys doing? What are you doing to me? Or I get the opposite. So I don't ever know. But I think to me this is the most difficult one. So you might have smooth sailing the rest of the month, or maybe I don't know. Michelle.
I struggle with the word campaign.
Oh.
Because it feels like it needs a lot of explaining. Is there like a nice, I know there's an assign for it, but a nice for campaign, like presidential campaign, and they're going out to campaign and events, and it's going to be very, very popular this fall in schools, that term.
I mean, we were able to skirt it in this narrative, so you might be able to skirt it a lot in other ones too. So if you heard the sentence, Trump is in town campaigning. Trump is in town campaigning. So what is he doing then? What does that mean to you guys? More than that, though, he's not just like, hey, everybody, let me tell you some facts about me and other people. It's more than this. Jackie, what did you? Oh, vote for me. So how it's a way that you could maybe this campaigning. So he's in town. Maybe this could be maybe part of it. So this meeting, vote in support. Come on, vote in support of me. That kind of thing. Campaigning. This wouldn't be the sole sign, of course. You have to do more. And Michelle, as you see, it's not easy. It's not a 1 or 2 signer. I don't think. I mean, not that I can think of right at the moment. He's in town campaign.
I'm thinking just in schools in general, the fall, you've got student council, you have the people competing within the school themselves, campaigning.
Yeah. So, I mean, even maybe like it's going to differ depending on exactly what you're talking about, of course, like everything does. But this idea of like just, me, here I am. Still, I would want to do something like vote for me. Yeah. Vote, maybe. I don't know. I'll think about that and see if I come up with anything better. Maybe I'll ask some people what they think. Good question. Any others? All right. Have a fantastic week. I will see you guys on Thursday. Take care.